guy. They do their small print runs, really cool obscure games. Another one I really like from them is Shien's Revenge, Shien, on SNES. Really hard to find. SOS on Super Nintendo by the same company, hard to find. Good publisher there. Dragon View by Kemco. That's a really neat one. Kind of beat 'em up action RPG meets first person RPG. Just strange, interesting, very hard to find. Sonic Last Man 2, hard to find. Ignition Factor, that one's unusual. Jalico being one of my favorite hidden gem companies. Top down, what would it be like? Like Zombies Ate My Neighbors, I guess. That genre of video game. But of course, very different from zombies. Beat 'em up there, Pirates of Darkwater. Got the Rushing Beat series with Rival Turf, Peacekeepers, and Brawl Brothers. Those are a trilogy in Japan, and they all had different labels or different names in America, but all published by Jalico. Cool beat 'em ups. Peacekeepers and Brawl Brothers being pretty high quality. Those are good games. Rival Turf is pretty average. Mystical Ninja is fantastic. Goemon stuff's been going up. I know Konami recently renewed that IP. I don't know how licensing works or whatever, but there's a lot of speculation about a new Mystical Ninja game coming out. Noticed Goemon's Great Adventure and Mystical Ninja on N64 are starting to really go up. High demand, high prices. That's a cool action platformer. It's no Hagane, but it's rare. It's really unusual. Kemco, Stone Protectors. It's a beat 'em up. Again, very rare. Like these are all like your Mega Man X3 level rarity, but just not nearly the demand. So wouldn't you know it, prices, 1/5 of a game that has 20 times as much demand. It makes sense. Legend by Seika, that one can be very hard to look up because of Legend of Zelda, Legend of the Mystical Ninja. So when searching for that game, the trick on eBay is use the minus symbol and then type in a word. It removes like any search that has that word. So if I typed in Zelda Nintendo 64 minus Majora, you're not going to see a single Majora's Mask. You'll just see, whatever results have the word Zelda, but not Majora's Mask. So that's a trick to try to find stuff like that. And as a result, I feel like the price is kept in check because it's just hard to locate. It's hard to navigate around eBay and find Legend. So oftentimes it's just a bid war between people that know how to find it. Super sweet beat 'em up. Kind of known for, what was the console? I think the Chameleon. What was that? The something Chameleon? Some Intellivision Amico type of bullshit that came out, and they were hyping the games that were going to be included on the Chameleon, the something Chameleon, I forget what it is. And this was one of them because it's fucking cool. It's a cool ass beat 'em up. Kind of looks like Guardian Heroes almost. Definitely one that you don't hear talked about among the final fights, and I don't know what other popular beat 'em up. Sonic Blast Man, another beat 'em up though. Legend, highly recommend. The Combat Tribes, really closest thing to Streets of Rage, I feel. Great colorful backdrops, tons of style, man. Very proud techno-soft game. A lot of homages to their own brand inside the game. You'll see on like signs in the window that say Technos and stuff like that. It's just cool. Kind of mediocre mechanics and stuff. It's no Final Fight or Streets of Rage, but visually it's really nice. Music's cool. Just it's worth the experience. For 20, he might have been friendly on that number. This is in the Joe and Mac series, Congo's Caper. So if you like Joe and Mac, you check that one out. I hear this one's a beat 'em up, Phil was telling me. You need to look at gameplay on that. Wildcats. Very hard to find on NES. Also hard to find on Super. I don't really see that one. Don't see that one ever. It's just low demand, I guess. Enix Brain Lord, a lot of people are familiar. Paladin's Quest. Good games. Good bang for your buck. They are hard to find. They are good. And they're kind of cheap. So I feel like that could change. You know, when it's good and hard to find. Doesn't take much. Just Eric Landon RPG. All it takes is Eric Landon RPG Seaman. And then that game doubles. You already know. You already know Knights of the Round. You already know Secret. There was your brief, not brief, cover of Super Nintendo games. Nice of them to include. Threw that in for free. I just need to get a manual. That's a nice game. Real Minty All-Stars, and then I was really happy about this one. CIB Magic Sword. Action platformer by Capcom. Cheap for the cart, so that's one to try to target. Good bang for your buck. Oh, I should hit the hay soon. Finish up what I was working on. I'm already at 40 minutes though, so it's gonna be a 2-part video. So I can keep rolling a little bit with this second part. What I'd like to do for probably my next, sorry, spit on the ground. Disrespect the warehouse, alright. Next content though, maybe PS1 and PS3. But I'd like to start kind of focusing on, I'm about to say the word Devin, about to say the U word, the U side word. I'm gonna talk about some upside in the next video. Homie Chris isn't really into that kind of content because he just likes white whale chasing. He likes super heavy items, really rare stuff, and he's less experienced than me. I don't think that's anything he'd be ashamed to admit. I've been doing this for about 20 years now. He's been doing it for about 2.5 years. So when it comes to just like broad knowledge and also trends over time, and that goes beyond like knowing the prices over the years and how they've changed, but also just I've been selling games for a long time, so I feel demand behind values. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes they don't necessarily correlate, you know. Stuff can be really pricey and easy to move. Some stuff can be really pricey and takes a real niche buyer. Great example would be like CIB handheld stuff. Really rare, can be really pricey, but finding that buyer, needle in a haystack. You know, you got a hard to move $300 CIB Game Boy game. Somebody's got a chunky Saturn game, Burning Rangers or something like that. As a seller of games, you say, thank you, dude. I will take your Sega Saturn high-end stuff that moves easy. But then, as far as upside goes with a deal like that, the Game Boy game could have more upside than the Saturn game, you know? Because a little bit of sprinkled extra interest in that Game Boy set could make that, I don't know, the year's 2014, and I have a CIB Spud's Adventure on Game Boy, and $400 game, trade it for a $400 Saturn game back in 2014, you'll fucking regret it now, you know? Now that Spud's Adventure is $2,000 CIB, so still not nearly the demand as the Saturn game, but the Saturn game just has more copies out there to satisfy that demand that does exist and sustain that $400. So that game is called Panzer Dragoon Saga 2014. Now Saga's like $1,000 plus. Ain't no Spud's Adventure though. So it's a strategy game, man. Life is a strategy game. Life is Harvest Moon. Life is Animal Crossing. You live it. You make good moves with your stuff. Smart moves. haggle with the shopkeeper, sell your old armor, upgrade to better stats, go grinding, gain experience, go grinding, level up, grind a rough disc, go grinding, rough Marvel vs. Capcom 3, level 2, do some grinding, level it up to level 9, and then you can defeat the evil collector. What the fuck am I saying, man?